Live on the Metal Voice. Intermission time at the big hockey game. Montreal Canadiens.
Montreal, Washington, 0-0 after one. And what better time than to review the new Ghost album that we have heard, people. We have heard.
It will be released on Friday. That's the official release. In Japan, it's probably going to be Thursday because...
Well, Friday to them, Thursday to us.
Yeah.
Friday at midnight, wherever you are, the new Ghost album will be released.
All right, here it is. I know we've talked about 3 singles already, so we had to come full circle and do the whole album. What does the album sound like? So the big question is this like toilet paper? Is this just disposable? Or is this a work of genius? Again, is this toilet paper? You know, like toilet paper is disposable. You buy it, you use it, you buy it, you use it. Is that what it is? Are we going to forget about this album in like, I don't know, a few days, in a week? Are we going to forget every song on this album in a month? Or is this genius? It's a diamond. This will live in our hearts forever. We'll look back at this album 10 years from now and say, man, what a masterpiece that was. Perrin, one sentence. Summarize this album for me.
Ambitious, yet simple. A lush sonic soundscape. I am blown away by this record.
You want to hear mine?
Sure.
Somewhere between 80s guitar arena rock with a slab of new wave and lots of cheesy Satan themes. But I still love it.
So it sounds like 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. So let's go through this.
Here.
Yeah. I wonder if the Montreal Canadiens are watching the Metal Voice right now, just thinking about
it'd be a good way to stay loose in the dressing room, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. All right, Peacefield, we've heard it. We're not going to review it. Of course, we reviewed it yesterday. La Crema, which was the second track, we're not going to review. We did review it. And Satan Eyes, we also did it as well. Those 3 songs, quickly, out of 10, what would you say?
I loved Peacefield. I only liked the other 2. I would say those individually out of 10 or as a group?
Okay, each one.
I'll say this. Peacefield is a 9. La Crema is a 7.5. And Satanized is a 7. So it probably averages out to around an 8 or something like that.
Yeah, I would average like each. I put it at 8. All 3 of them average about 8. I agree with you on that. Guiding Light. This is the track no one has heard yet. I'll let you start first.
One of the best on the record. Better than all of the singles that we've heard. You know, I will say this. The trend continues. For the last few years, I feel like we get teased with these singles, and the singles are rarely the best songs. Now, I think Peacefield is a very good song, but so much stuff we're going to talk about today is better than the singles that we've heard. So Guiding Light, lush production, layers, an amazing piano intro. You know, if I had to compare it, I kind of feel like it has a bit of an Alice Cooper vibe. You know, there's a line in there, Road to Nowhere, that kind of reminds me of Ozzy a little bit, in that era of Ozzy. And even at the end, with some of the piano to bring the song back down, a bit Savatage, a band that we've talked about a lot lately. So, you know, so if I'm talking Alice Cooper, Ozzy, and Savatage, I think those are some pretty good comparisons. But it's like, the thing is, it isn't like one of those things, it's like all of those things. And somehow you put it all together, and it works. So, an ambitious song, and one of the best on the album, for my money.
Heart could have sung this song. This could have been a Heart song in the 80s. Haunting, slow ballad with harpsichord. Could have been the soundtrack to Top Gun in one of those dynamic scenes.
I don't know if you're doing a good sell job there, but like, okay, we'll go with that. I say Alice Cooper, Ozzy, and Savatage, and you say Heart on the soundtrack of Top Gun. That's a bit of a...
And New Wave.
There's a lot between the two there.
So again, I to me, this album is a very guitar rock oriented album with a slab of new wave. There's a lot of that going on. All right, next song. De Profundis Borealis. Go ahead.
Yeah,
again, what would you rate? What would you rate Guiding Light then? I just quickly.
Guiding Light is a 9 on 10 for me.
I put 8 out of 10. Okay, De Fundus Borealis.
Another piano intro. So definitely going to be a lot of piano on this record. But then the piano intro goes into this killer riff. And, I'll pause here and say the ghouls, all of them, are just so good. Like Tobias gets all the press, but the musicians he uses are just so, so good. So piano intro, killer riff, huge chorus in the song. And this is a metal song. There's metal in here. For the whole, is it metal? Is it not metal? This is metal. And a great, great chorus. Every time you hear the wind blow, like it's just super, super. Again, I wouldn't say it's the best on the record, but this one is up there. The record starts with the 3 songs we've already heard, Guiding Lights and De Profundis Borealis. So that's kind of the first half of the record. That's a pretty strong first half of a record. So I'd say this is a really, really good track.
Yeah, I wrote 80s riff, soft, piano bit, but then it probably wouldn't be one of the heaviest songs on the album, maybe. I put it like at 8.5 out of 10. It's not their best song on the album, but it's really good.
Yeah, I'd have it at an 8 also. If I had Guiding Light as a 9, if I had Peacefield as a 9, I'd probably have this as an 8. And I also like this better than the first 2 singles that we had heard.
Yeah, I think I like the first 2 singles better than this, but I did enjoy it. It's not like I didn't enjoy it. I just thought it was good. It was good, but it wasn't the best. Cenotaph.
This one's interesting. It starts with this jazzy drumming thing. And I don't know if I've heard that from them before. And then the riff, for me, is Children of the Grave from Black Sabbath.
That's what I was going to say, exactly.
But then I feel the song loses steam a little bit after the intro. And honestly, I think it kind of falls into so-so. But there's a lot going on here. It's definitely up-tempo. There's an amazing guitar solo towards the end. If there's a grower on the album, I think it might be this song. And like I like parts of the song, specifically the jazzy intro and the Children of the Grave riff. Then it kind of gets a little boring for me, and then towards the end with the solo and onward, it gets better. So this one might be the grower on the record. 7 on 10, if that.
Wow, I put this at 9 out of 10. I like the jazzy hi-hat bit at the beginning. I love the guitar riff that sounds like Children of the Grave. And then it gets into the new wave romantic era. If that sort of 80s romantic new wave. Keyboard's always lingering in the background, and the hammer-on guitar solo, you kind of say, very Night Ranger-ish. This could have been a Night Ranger song. I put this more than 9 out of 10.
Crowd, I don't know if that's gonna sell it to a certain crowd that's watching.
That's what I'm a fan.
That's what you hear. So again, I gave it a 7. It's not bad, but there's a lot to process in this song.
But Perrin, I think you nailed it. It's a grower.
Yeah,
Keep in
this
mind,
one will be the grower on the record to people, I think.
Yeah. All right. Misila Amori. Now, there's a lot of Latin on this album, a lot of Latin. And I will say the lyrics, maybe I'll end off with this. I'll talk about the lyrics at the end. But what do you think of Misila Amori?
I like this one a lot. It has this throbbing bass, this throbbing kind of Scorpions do, even like a bit of Running with the Devil. It's definitely, again, particularly the start of the song, we're back in metal territory here. We're talking metal again with this song. And you know what I wrote about this song? God of Thunder from Kiss, but if the 80s Crazy Nights version of Kiss had recorded God of Thunder, not the 1970s version of Kiss. So, it's a bit of God of Thunder, it's a bit of Thrills in the Night. But I hear a bit of that in this song. And honestly, this is the most outstanding bass riff on the album, I think. I think the bass is what stands out in this song.
I've been having so far 8s and 9s on these songs. This is where I would dip to a 7, a 7.5. I like the song. I just didn't love the song. Again, a mid-paced rocker, love rockets in the lyrics, love rockets straight in the eyes or whatever the heck it's saying. It is on the heavier side of things. I did like the bass. I didn't hate it. It just wasn't my favorite on the album.
That's the 8 on 10 for me on that one.
I put it at 7. Okay.
But I think every song so far, we're in the 7, 8, and 9 range.
Yeah. So. It's very good. It's very good. Marks of the Evil One. And here, let me just pause here for a second and talk about the lyrics. If there's anything I did not like about this album, it's the cheesy Satan lyrics. He's been doing it since the first album. Oh, Satan, I loved you so much, and why did you do this to me? And change it up, change the lyrical
But he's
theme.
doing it on purpose, right? It's kind of the character, the Pope characters are just
I
these
know. It's kind of,
evil.
think of Sabaton. All they talk about is war. All he talks about is this gimmicky sort of cheesy Satan.
Well, because there is a storyline to all of this too, like in the Ghost universe, right?
I'm just saying. It's. I think he's capable of singing about some, getting into some more meaningful lyrics. That's what I'm saying. He's got the chops for that. He can do it. Go ahead. Marks of the Evil One.
Bon Jovi is back. This is Bon Jovi Ghost. This is for the pop fans. Again, I said it yesterday when we talked about Peacefield. If you were that fan who liked some of the Impera stuff like Spillways and Griftwood, this is for the Bon Jovi Ghost fans. But it's funny. It's like if Bon Jovi had a dark song about Satan, this would be it, So, but I find that's what's amusing, right? It's kind of Bon Jovi-ish kind of music, but the name of the song is Mark of the Evil One, right? It's kind of like it's this weird, conflicted thing. And I'll tell you this: there's a verse. It took me forever to place it. Da 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 da. Play that funky music, white boy. And I'm not kidding. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. But for the longest time, I was like, where have I heard that verse before? Where have I heard that cadence? Let's play that funky music. So, all right. I don't know. Really...
I was really impressed with this song, Marks of the Evil One. It has this incredible keyboard solo. It could have been maybe off of Eurovision, one of those songs in Eurovision, borderlining Bon Jovi, sure, but it's very upbeat beat. And I love the keyboard riff intro. So yeah, everything you said, but I really dug this track. I would definitely put it in like the 8 out of 10s.
Yeah, 8 on 10 for me as well.
Will I remember it 5 years from now? I don't know. All right, Umbra. This is a big one.
This was a wow moment for me, Jimmy.
Yeah.
This is a wow moment. You're talking about there's a lot going on here. You got spacey keyboards. You got this laid back rhythm of love Scorpions kind of song. This, it's funny. Like I've never associated Ghost with the Scorpions, and I feel like there's a couple Scorpions moments on this record. So think about how Rhythm of Love is a heavy song, but kind of laid back. There's that. Jimmy, there's cowbell. More cowbell, Jimmy. This is our first ever Ghost cowbell. And, then this thing changes direction. It speeds up into like a Bon Jovi thing. And then from the Bon Jovi thing, we get Dave Mustaine Megadeth style heavy picking. And then the heavy picking goes into these crazy keys that you would have like on a Malmsteen album if Jens Johansson was playing on this thing. So at the end of the day, you got like, Highway Star, you got Megadeth, you got Malmsteen, you got Bon Jovi. Like I'm listening, you got Blue Oyster Cult and cowbell. Like there's a lot to process in this song, but it's a wow. It's just like somehow this melting pot of everything works. I mean,
this might be the highlight of the album right here.
Yeah, if there's something we're gonna remember like 5 years, 10 years from now, and say that was like a crazy sick track on that record, Umbra is that track.
This isn't toilet paper. This is not toilet paper. This is definitely gold right here.
No toilet paper here. And by the way, it is in the live show. This song is in the live show.
Multi-keyboard intro, the cowbell, the Gregorian chanting, going, the tempo shifting. You got the trade-offs between the guitar solo and the keyboard solo. Is this Yes? Is this Asia? Is this, like you said, it can be Malmsteen sort of like breaking off into some sort of crazy rhythm section or something?
Mustaine, right? I heard like Mustaine down picking,
This is prog rock, right? That's the genius of this guy. He can take a song, not make it long in length, and just a punch in just a few minutes, just create this big, massive punch.
And I think this is the advantage of having a creative person in the band who's like clearly a music fan of many genres, right? You'll see Tobias talking about his love of Voivod, but also his pop sensibility, his love of Iron Maiden, and like you just see that he takes all these influences And it's kind of like he says, okay, it's almost if you said, AI, make me a song that sounded like, progressive melodic death metal. And like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
would come up with it. But it's not AI coming up with it. It's this guy.
yep, yep. And then we have the last track, Excessus. Is that how you pronounce it? Excessus? Excesis?
Yeah, Excelsis, I believe. Oh, by the
Excelsis.
way, so Umbra for me is the 10 on 10 on the
Oh,
album.
me too. 10 out of 10. So at least we're in sync on that. Excelsis, everybody hurts sometimes by REM.
Yeah, this is my least favorite song. I get it. Like honestly, guys, the album is a pretty heavy up tempo album.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
this song, which is 6 minutes long, it's the longest one on the album, kind of fades the album out.
Yeah.
And after such a crazy cacophony, the whole album, this one was a bit of a downer for me. This is kind of like when this is more like the walkout music they play when the house lights come on and everyone's walking out at the show. This is what you would play. Like I don't want to see this play live. This one's a bit of a downer. So I
Slow
just I don't think it'll
acoustic
be a grower.
ballad. Yeah, this will forget out. This will be toilet paper, definitely. This will be something we forgot about. But I could hear that REM in there. There's a lot of
A little Pink
REM.
Floydish. The end of it is maybe a little Pink Floydish. Again, there is a lot of prog on this album, but yeah, it's definitely I could see the REM thing, but this is a 6 on 10 for me.
Yeah, I think I'd put it around there. 6.5 out of 10. There's the half point for me just for effort. Overall, let's rank this album. 9, 8, 10. It's probably going to be in the 8.5, 8.6 range. That's how
Yeah,
I would say.
I'd give it an 8.5 on 10. I'd give it an
Yeah.
8.5 on 10. I think it's a strong record. I'm pleasantly surprised because, like I said, the first two singles I was so about. I liked the Peacefield single that dropped yesterday. But if those were an average of like 8, like the whole record's probably an 8.5. But if the first three were 8 and the average of the record's 8.5, that means we're averaging a 9 of everything else we haven't heard.
Yeah.
I would say don't judge the record by the first three singles. It gets, I mean, if you love the first three singles, I think you're really going to love the rest of the record. But if you didn't like them, don't worry, because there's way more to chew on the rest of the record. I think this is going to get a really good reception.
I think so
Fans
too.
are going to love it. Non-fans, it's not going to convert them. But I think this will be one of the biggest metal records of the year. This will be one of the, not only will it be on a lot of metal lists, like, the Pursuit of the Walnut here at the Metal Voice,
The Walnut, yes.
but this will be on like the Rolling Stone top 20 albums of the year kind of list. It's that kind of a record.
Yeah, it's that good. I agree with you. I think it's a step up from last album. I think it's a step up from all his albums. This might be one of my favorite albums by them. I did like the first one. There was something very underground about the first album that they ever did. Eponymous, is that what it was? I think, what was it called?
Opus Eponymous.
Opus Eponymous, that's what it was. There was something very mysterious about that first album. You didn't know who they were, you didn't know what they were about, but
It was
very
it
Blue
was
Oyster
new
Cult.
then, right? It was new, right? It's like the first season of your favorite show that you come to love, But I mean, the last record was my favorite record because look, I love hard rock metal with a pop sensibility, and I
Mm-hmm.
think they delivered that big time on the last record. And I think this continues that, but I think it's more diverse musically.
Yeah. Congratulations to Ghost. Congratulations to Tobias. It
Jimmy, I
was
have an
worth
update
the
for
wait.
you. I have an
Yes.
update from my son. 1-0 Montreal Canadiens.
Woo! There we go. All right.
So
Let's go
good
watch the
things
hockey game.
happen when we're on YouTube talking about ghosts. So I think maybe we need to keep this up.
All right. Well, we're going to let everybody go and watch the hockey game now. All right.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.